Venice, a city that feels like it could disappear into the water tomorrow. But how did this fragile, impossible city become one of the world's greatest guardians of beauty? What's its secret? In this video, we will search for that secret by exploring the stories behind the creations that define the city, from its legendary crafts like Venetian glass and lace, to its world-famous art scene, headlined by the Biennale. Exploring these kinds of stories is really the heart of this channel. My name is Satomi, and as a Japanese artist based in London, I share my sources of inspiration, the hidden stories behind the captivating art, craftsmanship, and an architecture that I discover on my travels around the world. So let's begin our search. You know, I'm a huge fan of crafts, not just fine art, but crafts. Perhaps it's because I grew up in Japan, surrounded by so many traditions, ceramics, lacquerware, textiles, you name it. And in Venice, I find a similar spirit, but expressed in a completely different way. You find so much incredible craftsmanship here, but it made me wonder, why did these specific crafts flourish here, of all places? The story of Venetian glass is fascinating. It's a story of fire and secrecy. Venice was a major trading hub, and from the 8th century, merchants brought back amazing glass and new techniques from the Middle East and the Byzantine Empire. Venetians absorbed these ideas and made them their own. But here is where it gets interesting. By the 13th century, glassmaking had become so important and dangerous that the government ordered all the glass furnaces to move to the nearby island of Murano. The official reason was to prevent fires in the main city, but it was also the perfect way to guard their precious secrets from the rest of the world. So this beauty wasn't just created, it was protected, almost like a state secret. It's amazing to think that these glowing objects we see today are the results of centuries of skill, passed down in total isolation. And it wasn't only glass. Venice had another treasure, woven from simple thread. The story of lace takes us to the island of Burano. Legend says it started in the 16th century, when women here were inspired by delicate Ottoman and Byzantine designs brought back by their sailor husbands. So they began recreating them with just a needle and thread. What made Burano lace special was its incredible fineness, all done by hand. Soon it became so prized that nobles in the royal courts of France and Spain paid fortunes for it. It's a beauty born from patience, detail, and the quiet skill of women whose work made this tiny island world famous. So, Venice was brilliant at protecting its treasures. But protecting treasures alone, it's not enough to become one of the world's great stages for art. To do that, a city needs another secret. It has to be brilliant at showing beauty to the world. And that's where Venice's modern story begins. The Venice Biennale, the world's most famous art exhibition, began as a city project back in 1895. What was so innovative was the model. The city provided the stage, the Giardini Gardens, and invited different countries to build their own pavilions. The pavilions are permanent. In those early years, the Art Biennale ran biennially, giving people a reason to return again and again. It was genius, really. The city became the venue, tapping into its own magic to become one of the world's great stages for art. Architecture joined the program later. Today, the exhibitions alternate. Art one year, architecture the next. In fact, the Biennale became so influential that it expanded, launching the Venice Film Festival in the 1930s, which is now the oldest film festival in the world. And that spirit is everywhere. Beyond the Biennale, the city itself is a museum. You have the Peggy Guggenheim collection on the Grand Canal, and major shows at palaces like Palazzo Grassi. Why did Guggenheim love Venice so much? She once wrote that to live in Venice is to fall in love with the city itself. I think I understand what she meant. But you know, for all the incredible art and history, the main reason I keep coming back to Venice is much more personal. My first encounter with Venice was actually as a child at Tokyo Disney Sea. To me, not knowing the real thing, those make-believe canals were Venice itself. As a little kid, I was so inspired by those sets that I even dreamed of becoming a set designer one day. Then, when I started painting, the Venice I imagined was the one from Monet's paintings. So for the longest time, my idea of Venice was this strange mix of a childhood fantasy and an artistic dream. The first time I saw that real light on the water, with gondolas drifting along the canals and the colorful facade reflecting the water, I was so moved in a way I will never forget. I even set up my easel by the canal, hoping to capture what Monet did. In the end, I ended up spending almost a month in Venice on the first trip, going back and forth. But the reason I keep coming back again and again is the people. When traveling alone across Italy, this has been the place where I have made the most friends. People who are so open, generous, and incredibly kind. I always go back to see them. This amazing furniture showroom that hand paints the most beautiful pieces. A wonderful frame maker who carves everything by hand. And the people at Burano Gallery where you can see incredible glassworks created in collaboration with top artists like Ai Weiwei. And whenever I see them, I instantly feel relaxed. This beautiful city and its people have given me so much. It was here that I had my first ever solo exhibition years ago. So yes, that's why Venice is deeply personal to me. Each time I visit Venice, I find something new to learn. This city has been captivating people for centuries because it doesn't just preserve its culture, it keeps it alive. The traditional crafts, the art, everything here is breathing, evolving, never losing its energy. The people here are proud of what they offer, and there's something so charming in the way they welcome visitors, with a humor that instantly makes you feel at home. As someone from Japan, where I sometimes worry about our traditions fading away, Venice shows me a different path. They've turned their crafts into living art, their history into thriving business, their culture into special experiences. That's what makes Venice itself feels like a living masterpiece. Oh my god, there's so much more I want to share with you about this city, so I may create a dedicated guide or another deep dive when I visit next time. During these 2 weeks, I also explored Verona and Padua. Those art trips are coming in the next videos. If this exploration resonated with you, I would be so grateful if you'd subscribe and join me for more discoveries like this. And I would love to know what draws you most to Venice. Or if you have never been, what are you most curious to discover? Your stories always inspire my next journeys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.